Good afternoon. My name is Jacob and I'm a ranger at the Jimmy Carter National Historic Site in Plains, Georgia. In a previous video, you may have noticed me standing in front of this submarine, and you may have thought that looks a bit out of place for Southwest Georgia. And you'd be right. I'm talking to you from Pier 86 in New York City at the Intrepid Sea, Air, and Space Museum. This submarine behind me is named the USS Growler, and it was developed around the same time that Jimmy Carter served as a lieutenant in the U.S. Navy. Jimmy Carter graduated from the U.S. Naval Academy in 1946 and soon found his sea legs at the beginnings of the Cold War. Jimmy Carter is the only president who ever qualified in command of submarines, a duty not for the faint of heart. When he entered the Naval Academy in the height of World War II, being a submariner was one of the most dangerous jobs in the U.S. military. The submarine service suffered the loss of 1 out of every 5 submariners during the war. That's the highest casualty rate in all the U.S. Armed Forces during that time. Jimmy Carter did not serve on the Growler, but he did help with the development of submarines that would keep U.S. submariners and our whole country even safer. The Growler was developed for service during the Cold War to provide a nuclear deterrent against the Soviet Union. Its payload of Regulus nuclear missiles ensured that any Soviet nuclear attack against the United States will be met with a response that wouldn't be damaged or destroyed in the Soviets' first attack. One downside to the Growler's design is that it runs with conventional diesel engines. This means that it has to surface often to replenish its supply of air and fuel to keep her engines running. These factors limit the Growler's range and forces her to expose herself to the enemy for air. But in 1951, Admiral Hyman Rickover interviewed and accepted Jimmy Carter into the Navy's nuclear submarine development program. Specifically, he worked with the U.S. Atomic Energy Commission to assist in the design and development of nuclear propulsion plants for naval vessels. By assisting with this design, Carter was helping future submariners by allowing submarines to remain submerged for longer periods. That increases their range to almost unlimited distances and extends their refueling period to about 25 years. Although Carter was slated to be the engineering officer for a nuclear power plant that was going to be placed on one of the first operational nuclear submarines, he resigned his position in the Navy in 1953 to return home to Georgia after the death of his father. His contribution, though, still stands as a critical asset to the United States. Not only did he make our military service safer for submariners by allowing submarines to stay submerged longer, but he also led to the ability of our United States military to accomplish great feats that range everything from sailing to the North Pole under the polar ice caps to having current nuclear submarines armed with ballistic nuclear missiles being out in the oceans to serve as our silent sentinels and defenders against nuclear attack. So this Memorial Day, the staff of the Jimmy Carter National Historic Site would like to honor the memory of all submariners who gave their lives in the service of the United States military. And we'd also like to thank President Jimmy Carter and the others who helped develop the nuclear propulsion for submarines to make service for future submariners even safer and to protect our country. Thank you.